What's up, your boy ATK back with a reaction, and today, I don't know about y'all, but I grew up on Nickelodeon. I watched Nickelodeon. That was my favorite thing. Out of Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, I love Nickelodeon the most. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, now what's top of Victoria's Big Time Brothers going on one? Nothing was beating out when I was a kid. And this episode right here is the worst era of Nickelodeon. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it got to a certain point where my faith in Nickelodeon has died down crazy. They was dropping mid after mid after mid. The shows was not hitting no more, bro. Sanji and Craig, that was when the downfall started happening, man. I don't know. I couldn't keep up with that. What was going on after that, bro? So we gonna see what this was, what his opinion of the worst era of Nickelodeon is, because I know in my mind what I think it is. But if y'all not sub with that sub and I like, bro, let's get to it. Alright, this is among the worst era of Nickelodeon. Let's see what you talking about, boy. Fun fact, I did not like the Rugrats. Let's get to it.
By all ages for decades.
Facts.
Since releasing the first 3 Nicktoons in the early 90s, Nickelodeon has become known as a predominantly cartoon channel. The 90s are revered as the golden age of cartoons.
I feel like Nick was more like
the 2000s being a noteworthy successor that definitely started to falter as time went on. The next era, being the 2010s,
what is that?
Is arguably the worst era. And I am here to tell you why. But first,
I missed that on this.
A little bit of backstory.
The 90s, okay.
In the early 90s, they introduced Doug
was
Rugrats, and the Ren and Stimpy show. These 3 would become the first Nicktoons.
Hey, Ren and Stimpy was freaky.
Proved to be very popular, thus Nickelodeon choosing a cartoon-oriented path. Rocko's Modern Life, Cat Dog, Angry Beavers, Our Real Monsters, Hey Arnold, and the Wild Thornberrys were soon to follow.
Wild Thornberrys?
All these cartoons were very successful and still remain icons today. They were original and wacky, and had humor that hadn't been seen in cartoons before. These cartoons made up
my boy from the Thornberrys, the one that was like, that's my guy. That's my guy.
And is now known as the Golden Era. The next era was the SpongeBob era.
Ooh! Come on now.
SpongeBob was
Can't go wrong with SpongeBob.
Is their cash cow. So, a lot of their focus went to SpongeBob.
That's number one right there, bro.
The entirety of the 2000s was plastered with the yellow square. Even with SpongeBob's success, there were a handful of cartoons that came out around this time that were still very good.
SpongeBob,
Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron, Danny Phantom, Invader Zim, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Avatar, and Chalk Zone.
Oh my gosh. I'm pausing too much. I low-key forgot Nickelodeon had all these heavy hitters, bro. Danny Phantom, Avatar, SpongeBob, all in the same era, bro.
First half of the 2000s was
I see why Nickelodeon my favorite
to the 90s. Original cartoons, unique concepts and adventures, and very enjoyable to watch.
Danny Phantom was fire.
The second half of the 2000s is where the decline began, but had not fully hit rock bottom. The shows they were making didn't necessarily drop in quality,
but a
lack in promotion and opportunity led them to fail. These shows were for the most part overshadowed by their more successful cousins like SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents. These shows were Tack and the Power of Juju.
I had a game on GameCube, bro. Tack. That game was fire.
The X's, and Back at the Barnyard.
Back at the Barnyard was good
seemed to give these shows a chance, and really only promoted the big shows that they knew would perform well. In the last year of the 2000s, a show would be released that I think truly begins the descent into the worst era. Fanboy and Chum Chum. I know this dead horse has been beaten so much it's just pulp now. It's trendy to hate on this show, and that's not what I'm here to do. I'm simply bringing up the point that this show relied heavily on poop humor. I'm not criticizing it.
It did?
But it does set in motion a domino effect of terrible humor. I am now going to give
an overview
of all the Nicktoons during this decade. 17 different Nicktoons premiered in this decade, compared to 11 in the 90s and 17 in the 2000s. For the sake of the argument, I'm going to only go over actual Nicktoons, not every single animated show that aired this decade. So, for shows like Rabbids Invasion, that most certainly helps the argument, will not be talked about, as it is not categorized as a Nicktoon.
A poop humor show?
The first new Nicktoon of the decade was Planet Sheen.
Planet Sheen, I do remember that.
Unnecessary spin-off to Jimmy Neutron. This spin-off was not well liked. Making side characters the main characters is usually a poor decision unless you're Saul Goodman. Sheen became overly annoying. The plot was too bizarre in a bad way, and visually, the show wasn't the best thing Nick had to offer. Going back to the humor, it was definitely different. It wasn't like Jimmy Neutron. It was reminiscent of Fanboy and Chum Chum. The ratings gave validity to these claims, and Nickelodeon canceled the show after the season. The next Nicktoon was Tough Puppy, being that it was created by Butch Hartman.
Tough Puppy wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna lie. When there was nothing else on, if Tough Puppy came on, I'd watch it. I'd watch the episode.
That did Fairly Odd Parents and Danny
I wasn't
Phantom.
mad at it.
I wasn't mad at it. All bad, I'm sorry. Right? Well, it wasn't, but you could definitely tell the shows were losing soul. I don't know how else to describe it than that. I get that I'm here to articulate my point with words, but
that's drip, though.
This show feels like you took Fairly Odd Parents, drained the soul from it, and slapped on a spy theme. The next two shows are Winx Club and The Legend of Korra.
Winx Club was fire.
They do not fit into the category of terrible. They are the very few diamonds in the rough of this decade. Robot and Monster is the next show, and it just brings more of the same. The show feels very empty, content-wise,
yeah,
and
I didn't watch
visually.
that one.
The humor this time isn't so much farting, but beating each other up and name-calling. There's nothing wrong with that humor, as it's probably the most common type of humor. But to have every joke based on it gets boring.
I just remember they like bacon a lot.
Fast. The 2012 TMNT is an all-around fine show. It
Amazing.
Gets the job done.
Amazing.
I don't have any strong opinions on
Amazing.
it. Sanjay and Craig are guilty of being one of the worst on the network.
Yeah,
I could make the argument that it is worse than Fanboy and Chum Chum. It's probably not, but it's very close.
I didn't watch Sanjay and Craig
only on fart humor. It's like you took the worst quality out of all the popular shows at the time
and put it in one show.
Damn. This show.
They're like Bob's Burgers to me.
Show where a human and a non-human best friend duo go on really wacky adventures. Another thing this show has in common with all of the others that come after it is its hyperactivity. Fanboy and Chum Chum had it along with Tough Puppy, but it is right in your face with this show. Surely this show is as bad as it gets.
Oh, nah. I do remember that show.
Let's take Sanjay and Craig. And
I remember the show.
Worse. This show is complete
the duck bread,
rot humor.
The bread joint,
if you can even call it humor. There are no real stories for episodes.
Yeah.
Just recycled junk you have seen before.
Yeah.
Annoying characters. So much stuff.
I never watched it like that, but I do remember seeing it.
It's unreal how this was created, and then continued to be created. Look on the bright side. Breadwinners is the worst this decade gets.
Damn.
Happy Beaks was a breath of fresh air.
I don't even know. What is this?
And then Pig, Goat, Banana, and Cricket released.
What is this?
And you were right back into the mud. More hyperactive, over-exaggerated animation slop.
I've never seen that.
Is next.
I've seen this before. I didn't watch it. I just seen it.
It has proven to be a much better show than the others, even though I would argue the fart jokes and hyperactivity is definitely still present. Bunsen is a Beast, the fourth show by Butch Hartman, proved that it was more of what this decade has churned out. Yet again, a buddy duo where one is non-human, and they go on way too wacky of adventures. Welcome to Wayne.
Dang, Nickelodeon fell off?
I can't give any personal anecdote as I've never seen this one. Online, the most common criticism is that it is a Gravity Falls ripoff. 2 days after Welcome to Wayne aired, Fairly Odd Parents was canceled. This now left SpongeBob and...
What else?
Well, nothing else, really.
Bro,
at this point,
Nickelodeon fell off like this?
SpongeBob had been airing for longer than a year or so, and their cash cow SpongeBob was getting worse and worse. Hang on. Let me talk about that in a second. Let's finish off this decade. There are 4 Nicktoons left of the decade.
Yo, Turtles.
Only one of them still falls into the hyperactive poop humor category. The other 3 are reboots or
Turtles
spin-offs.
was good, bro.
This is the exact trend repeating itself. Let me explain. At the end of the 2000s, Fanboy and Chum Chum introduced the poop humor, and it continued all throughout the decade. Now these 3 shows...
So Fanboy and Chum Chum's the one to blame.
Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Fire.
and the Casa Grandes are all spin-offs and reboots. Now look at the 2020s so far. Almost 70% of the shows in the decade thus far are spin-offs, reboots, and licensed shows.
No, this is horrible.
It seems as if at the end of the decade...
What is that?
Shows that are indicative of what
they ruined SpongeBob?
The following decade.
SpongeBob decline. They ruined SpongeBob, bro.
Okay, now the decline of SpongeBob.
This is crazy.
It's been talked about endlessly. They say it got
I can't
bad
believe what
after
I'm
the
hearing.
First movie, whatever. I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm here to say at this point SpongeBob was arguably just bad. Look up the worst episodes of SpongeBob. No, I'll do it for you. The consensus is that A Pal for Gary is the worst. SpongeBob gets a new pet, and it tries to eat Gary. They literally rewrite SpongeBob to be dumber than usual to make the story work. Another terrible episode is One Course Meal, the episode where Mr. Krabs tortures and abuses Plankton, which is pretty out of character for Mr. Krabs. What's my point with this? These episodes came out in 2010. Most of the worst episodes came out in this decade. So not only were their new shows bad, but their legacy shows were too.
Falling off. This is crazy to hear.
Is the
this is crazy to hear.
Shows.
SpongeBob, I mean,
29 live-action shows
off.
premiered in this decade.
Thundermans was
but
cool.
that's not all. There were other shows that didn't premiere in the 2010s, but were still airing new episodes, making the total 33.
iCarly.
That's
okay. Look. iCarly W. 2 Jackson W. I don't remember. I remember the show a little bit. I don't remember like that. Big Time Rush, Ultra W, Victorious, Ultra W, Bugging. I don't know. Hunter x Hunter was alright. Thundermans was cool. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I watched for on there. I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark? What about that one show? What's that one show called?
Some of them aren't that bad. I mean,
I can't think of the name. It was like a private school
either. But some of them are especially heinous.
Fred, that didn't hit.
Fred,
what was that House of Anubis?
I can't talk ill of all these shows because I have close to no knowledge about them. I only watched cartoons growing up, but all you need to do is look at the numbers. 33 shows running in a span of 10 years. I don't know. It has to get watered down.
I don't know what those are.
It has to. I know the animation studio is probably completely separate from the live-action studio, with completely different budgets and everything. But I really wish more effort would have been spent on the cartoon side rather than live action. You can clearly tell where Nickelodeon's focus went into this decade. And I believe this is a small contributing factor as to why the cartoons were so bad.
Why puke humor? That's a good question.
Why did they cling to this type of humor?
Poop ain't that funny now.
What made them think it was successful and funny? I can't tell you that. The only reason I can hypothesize, and it's a stretch,
poop ain't that funny.
A long stretch.
We'll keep it 100.
Is for shock value. YouTube was
Ice Spice must have watched Nickelodeon a lot because he do a lot of poop stuff too.
2010s, and by the mid-2010s was huge. The network saw this huge shift in viewership, where the kids, instead of watching cartoons, were watching their favorite YouTubers play video games, or vlogging, or what have you. I'm guessing maybe this was their attempt to catch people's eyes and be like, look at us. We have this crazy, wacky, over-exaggerated junk. Look, I know that's not a very good reason, but I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. I can't think of any other reason why any executive in their right mind would approve the poop humor. Not much has changed into the 2020s. The poop humor shows are definitely decreasing in quantity. However, they are just being replaced with reboots, spin-offs, and other licensed IPs. We're definitely in a reboot era right now. Everyone is doing it. And there aren't tons of unique new movies or shows. It only makes sense that Nickelodeon follows suit. Make sure you check out my other videos. I have quite a few about Nickelodeon and other cartoons. If you could please subscribe. I'm literally so close to 1,000 subscribers. And you hitting that button will help me greatly. Thank you for watching.
Shout out Mung, bro. This is a great video. Make sure all the bug plays that sub button over there, bro. I ain't gonna lie, Nickelodeon, bro. You slipping, you falling off, bro. It hurts my heart to hear as a Nickelodeon kid. Okay, I like Disney, I like Cartoon Network, but Nickelodeon, that was always my thing. Because Big Time Rush, Victoria's on one, all those shows is on there. Avatar, Danny Phantom, those was my prime shows, you know what I'm saying? And I fought for Nickelodeon. Them days, people had them arguments, you know who I was riding for? Nickelodeon. Now, I never put two and two together, but to see y'all went downhill, because y'all was too focused on fart jokes, bro, that just breaks my heart to hear. I never liked Fanboy and Chum Chum, but now I know why. Because that was the downfall of it all. I don't even want to talk about it right there. Hey, Mung, this was a great video. I really enjoyed it. Your breakdown, Nickelodeon. Y'all let me know down below. What y'all Nickelodeon, Disney, or Cartoon Network? You know what I'm saying? And make sure y'all say the right answer. Y'all know what the answer is. But if y'all not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, that like button, your boy AZK. Let me know what y'all want to see next, and we out of here.